What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Mastermind Creations reformatted Optus Nox, their version of a Nemesis IDW Stormbringer Optimus Prime. Now, a lot of people thought this was the IDW version of Orion Pax, and I guess you could think of it that way, but the reality is this is actually Stormbringer, but it doesn't matter to me. Either way, it's a cool looking version of Optimus. So this is the evil version. Now, he does come with a collector's card, just like the original, and it shows him with the guns and a sword. Here's the back with the tech specs. Nice. And I don't normally show the instruction manual, but I wanted to show this one because in the back page you've got the Maximus Pro Ignis. So their version of Hotspot. There's his base mode. There's the robot mode, front and back, and then there's the combined mode. So you can see how they've done it this time. They have a frame on the outside, and then there's the fire truck mode. Really, really cool looking. I'm not sure I'm loving this robot mode with these big things on the arms, but other than that, really, really cool. Nice. It does come with this head pre-installed, so take a look at that. That looks really cool. You've got basically the purplish eyes with the broken mask there, and his mouth is showing through the broken mask. Really, really nice. If you don't like that, if you want the regular face, they do give you the face mask here, so you can replace it and you can have the regular mask. You just basically undo the screw on the back of the head and then you can replace this mask. But of course we're going to keep that on there because that's such a cool looking head. Alright, let's take a look at his articulation. He's got quite a bit. So the head is on a rotating joint here on the inside. It's also on a ball, so the head itself can rotate around, and then the neck rotates independently, so it's really just a ton of movement there. So the neck itself rotates and the head rotates, and then the panel that the neck is on rotates too, so you can get way down to there, way up to there. I mean, he's got everything, and then of course side to side movement. Everything you could ever want out of a head, and the neck as well. You have a double joint here for the shoulder, so it goes up on that joint and then on this joint as well. You want to move this out of the way here, and you can get this shoulder way up like that, so it actually rotates here as well. So 1, 2, 3 joints for that shoulder. Rotates around on this joint, up and out to the side, rotation at the bicep. You have a double jointed elbow with some automorphing features in there, so you get that kind of cover down piece in there, and then the pistons on the back, really neat. And then some of the most crazy hands I've seen, really articulated. They splay out 1, 2, 3, 4 joints, so you have the joint going out this way, and then 1, 2, 3 pins going that way. So you can just get basically anything you want. You know, you can get the flat palm, whatever you want. Really, really articulated. You have a rotation at the waist. You have a rotation at the mid-waist, or at the abs. You have ab crunch at the top. And let's see if we get that out of the way. You have ab crunch backwards. And then at the lower waist, it also crunches. So if you really want to get it, you can open it up here on that joint. And you can get crazy down. All the way down. So a ton of movement on that ab crunch. Just make sure you move that back piece out of the way before you get it back down, or you'll have some collision there. There we go. It does click back into place. You have hip skirts on the front here. These are a little bit weird the way they work, so they go up and down on this joint, and then they can flip up like that. You have the leg on a drop down joint. You can also rotate it at the joint, or you can drop it down and then rotate it. So because of the drop down joint, you can get it kicking way up high. No hip skirt on the back, but you can get the leg all the way back to here, to the drop down joint, out to the side on friction. It's a soft ratchet this way and a hard ratchet this way. Rotation at the thigh. You have a double jointed knee, again with some automorphing, so you got the little pistons there. But because of the double joint, you get that really cool motion there. which just screams, you know, premium product because of that. Moving downwards, you have a pull down ankle joint. Goes to that all the way out to there, forward and backwards, toe tilt. I mean, what more could you want here? You just get everything. So you can be walking. I mean, you can do tons of stuff with this guy. So you do get these two double barrel guns, and these can fit right here on his arms. And really nice. I like that they included these. You don't have to put them on there if you don't want to, but fits on there just like that. You also get these two guns here. They're basically exactly the same as the original. You can fold out this handle and extend it, and it makes this gun very Optimus Prime-y looking gun. And that can tab into his hand. And he can hold that with his fingers. And that looks great. There you go. If you prefer, you can take these guns and leave it collapsed like this, and you can attach it to his back in two ways. So if you rotate this upwards, there's a tab right here, or a slot right there, that'll attach to this tab on the side of his backpack. And let's make sure I have the right one here. There we go. And now he can be firing that on his back. Now, me personally, I prefer the other mounting method, which is right here. There's a slot. Get that into there. And now he can have that gun. And we'll take this out of his hand. And the reason you might want to do that is because he has another weapon. So let's get this back into here. There you go. There he is, double barrel. And you can aim those however you want because they're on this rotating piece. Very nice. So the other weapon you get is this sword, which is awesome. So it's got the purple jewel there in the middle. It's got that translucent red and then gunmetal gray paint all the way through. It's just really, really well done. Nice looking sword. It doesn't feel, you know, fragile or anything. It's a nice solid plastic. So you can get this into his hand right here. It'll attach. I have been able to pose him with both hands holding it. It takes a little bit of work to get it, but you can get him holding it with both hands. You just have to use those butterfly joints in the shoulders and just get it together, but you can do it. But really nice looking sword. It's just a beautiful addition to this figure. Speaking of the figure itself, let's talk about the changes. Obviously they've changed this to red. There's some purple accents up here for the lights on the top. You got teal here instead of the yellow. You've got the purple here underneath. That looks nice. And then you've got the gunmetal gray here for the grill. All that looks really nice. Here's the back. Nice and clean overall. Now the sword can also be mounted on the back, so you get this attachment piece. So it's not even in the book. I don't know why they don't mention it, but this will go right here. And there's two little slots on there, two tabs that go into these two slots. So get those attached right there, just like that. And then where there's a thin part, go ahead and slot that in, and then slide it downwards, and it'll kind of lock in place. I don't want to push it on just because I don't want to break this translucent plastic. But there you go. Now you can be holding his gun, or sorry, his sword on his back and his guns, or you can put the guns back in his hand, whatever you prefer. You know, lots and lots of display options with this guy, which really makes him fun. Now you also get the Matrix, which was including the original release, except this time it's got the gunmetal gray and the purple jewel in the middle there. And you can hold this if you want him to. You can get basically 3 fingers around this handle here. And you can have him, you know, pulling it apart or just holding it or whatever. I don't know if there was ever a Nemesis in the IDW comics, or a Nemesis Orion Pax, or whatever you want to call him. But he does have a Matrix. You can also store the matrix in his chest. So if you want, and this is a couple of steps here to do it. So go ahead and pull these off the back. Come to the front here. You can take the arms, rotate them up and to the back. Up and to the back. Make sure you rotate the actual armature and not the arm itself. Right. Go ahead and take these chest pieces, push those back. That's going to allow you to open up these panels here, which allows you to access that matrix chamber. Fold this matrix chamber down, or the matrix holder, I guess. And it helps if you have, a spudger or something to hold this in place. Then you're going to take the matrix itself, take off the handles. Yes, you do have to take off the handles in order to stow the matrix. And you're going to hold this piece right here. And there's two little tabs on the bottom of this. So you know it's right if you've got those two holes on the top. And those little tabs are going to fit into these slots right here. There we go. And then go ahead and push that back in, and there's his matrix inside. And you can have it open if you want to, or you can close this back up. And make sure, let's put this back. You won't be able to close this unless you have these backwards. So make sure that's closed. Pull these back forward. Then you can put his arms down. We'll fix his head there. Come back to the back, and then you can put these back on. And there you go. Now he's got his matrix inside. Now one last accessory which you get with this guy that is unique and almost made me think this was going to be an exclusive is this cape here. So it is a wired cape. It's very similar to prior releases, Mastermind Creations, except it's got a front part to the cape too. So really, really nicely done. Nice cloth material. It's got the wire on both ends. So you can take this, there's a little hole obviously to go over his head. And then you're going to take this cowl. So here's the cowl, nice piece of plastic there. It's got a little break in it, so you can put this around so this goes to the front. So we're going to get that cowl around. This is a little bit tricky to get on here. All right, there you go. There he is with his cowl. And you can kind of arrange this however you want. But really, really cool little cape here. And of course, with his sword, he looks even better. And that's the look. I mean, come on. And for a size comparison, there it is next to the Transform Element TE01B Nemesis Prime. Looks really good. If you're a Nemesis collector, this is going to look really nice in your collection. So he's not obviously not as big as a Masterpiece scale Optimus, but not as small as a Chug either. He's kind of in the middle. All right, now let's get him transformed into his vehicle mode. Since we've already looked at this mold with the Optus Pexis figure on my channel before, I'm not going to show the transformation. We're going to get him transformed, and we'll be right back. And there we have Optus Nox in his vehicle mode. Really beautiful looking. You got that translucent red with the silver behind it. All those purple lights now show up here in the vehicle mode on the front. You get some exhaust here, up here on the side, and then the guns kind of look like exhaust. I forgot to mention you can store the handles for the Matrix right here. That can be stored there in Robot Mode 2 on those hip skirts. I just wanted to mention that you can put them here in vehicle mode so the entire Matrix can store away in this mode as well. You can take the guns here and kind of collapse them down, and then those will fit together like that. And then there's two slots that can plug in on the top there. So you can get those stowed in the vehicle mode. Let's see, does it go this way? Yeah, there you go. Oops, and I knocked this off. And there you go, fully stored. Now I don't see a spot. Let's see if this still fits. So if you put this on here, no, it can't fit in there anymore. So unfortunately the little adapter for the sword will not fit there. And for size comparison, since I have nothing from IDW, here it is with MP10 Optimus Prime. about the same height, width or length, about the same width, and obviously shorter in his very sleek vehicle mode. So final thoughts on the MMC Optus Nox. Let's start with the positives. This thing looks awesome. It's so menacing and bad. I mean, you can really get into some crazy poses due to the articulation that it has. It's the same articulation as the original figure, but because of all of that movement, you just get some really good poses. I just threw this together in a couple minutes here. You also get a lot of good accessories. You get the original guns, plus the double barrel blasters on the forearms. In addition to that, now you get the cape, the cowl, and the sword, which looks great. So they did a great job with that overall. I just think really good value for your money. Overall, the quality feels good on both the robot mode and the vehicle mode. Negatives wise, it still has that same thing with the legs. You got to be very careful. There's a sequence to the transformation in order to get it into the vehicle mode. But as long as you follow the instructions, Pig did a really good video. If you're interested in that, you can check that out. I also did a video on it, but just be careful once you're transforming. Other than that, really, really good figure. Highly recommend it. If you can pick this up, you can pick this up at Toy Dojo if you're interested. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.